everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I'm doing a very easy double layered orange flower on this unique glass bottle. I have washed it with soap and water and then gone over it with rubbing alcohol to clean it off. I'm going to be using two Amagic brushes, a 12 and a 10, and then my rickety Westonia fine liner. Love this brush. The paints that I'm using today are all FolkArt paints. I'm using School Bus Yellow, Forest Moss, Yellow Ochre, Thicket, got some paint on my finger, Vivid Orange, Burnt Umber, and Wicker White. Now I do use a mixture of enamels and the multi-surface paint. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to be using the number 10 Amagic brush. Now with the way my videos are set up, I don't have a lot of room to include my little palette here. So basically what I'm doing is just dipping the sides that I want to have paint on them into the different paints that I want to use. I am not real meticulous over how I load my brush. Typically you're supposed to have paint 3/4 of the way up the bristles. I just keep tapping into the colors that I'm using as I paint. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the actual blooms themselves, and just a very easy stroke. Keep in mind too, when you're watching me, I am left-handed, so if you feel like how I'm doing a design feels awkward to you as you're painting, then by all means start in an opposite direction. I am starting from right to left, so meaning that may not be comfortable for you, so you do the reverse, going from left to right when you're creating your designs. Alright, so I'm going to, like I said, focus on the blooms first, and I'm trying to stay, I mean I can go over, but I'm kind of trying to stay close to each other. I can go over a little bit over the edge here. For the purpose of the video, I am just concentrating on painting on the front, maybe a little bit going over the edges here of these little ripples. It is definitely a unique bottle, and I forget now what kind of a bottle, what was actually in it. I'm not a drinker, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of the shapes and such of different bottles. Okay, so I really wanted to have it offset a little bit so they're not just kind of lined up and down this bottle, if you get what I'm indicating here. But I could. I mean, I could just do the design strictly up and down the front. If I were to sell this bottle, which I do sell these, I would paint probably all the way around it, not just the front. But I do typically try to stay with just the front for the purpose of doing my videos, so that the videos aren't 5 hours long. Now, this is a double layer, as I mentioned. I could go over these again if I feel like they're not opaque enough, but I'm not going to on this. I'm just going to go ahead and start with my next layer, which is going to come in here, and I apologize too, my furnace was running. Now it just shut off, which you probably can hear me better. So I'm just taking my time on this. I am just being real easy, painting over the top because I don't want to try to raise the bottom layer of paint up, because that can be pulled up very easily when you're painting over the top on a glass piece. It's definitely different than what you deal with when you're painting on a canvas or wood. You just have to be very careful a lot of times. If you have any questions or comments, please place them underneath the video. I would love to hear from you. Any suggestions on things that you would like to see me paint, please let me know down there as well. And one thing nice about doing glass is that you can move it around to the different angles that you need to get to, easier than if you're doing something stationary, you know, like a wall, where you have to just kind of adjust your strokes, and if you make a mistake, figure out how to correct it. With glass, you can easily wipe it off and start again. A couple pointers when you're painting on glass is to make sure that you have more of an opaque design. That way it'll be more durable. Not as important to achieve when you're painting on a bottle as it would be wine glasses or something like that. But again, just keep that in mind. Anytime you're painting on glass, you're going to have a more durable outcome if you have good coverage. All right, next thing I'm going to do is dip my paints, and again, I do a lot of different colors. So I'm going to do the thicket and the forest moss, do some blending strokes, but I'm also going to be tipping in some yellow, some of the burnt umber, and I just keep doing this on and off as I'm painting. So again, that's where I'm trying to tell you that, yeah, you can load your brush certain ways, but I don't really kind of follow that. I just do what I need to do to get the results that I need. So anyways, here we go. So on this, I'm just going to do kind of my basic favorite kind of leaves. And they're little wiggle leaves. Now I can do it like this, in which I went like that, and then turn the bottle to achieve then the rest of the angle on the other side, and then put a little stem towards the center. I'm going to cover coverage there. Or I can do it just like I did, coming coming back down the one side. Up to you. You can also concentrate on kind of switching the, like say if I want to do it like this, where I have the darker on the outside. I'm going to go over there a little bit, so now I have to watch when I roll this bottle around that I don't actually touch it on the other side, so I can have dark on both outer sides of this. And kind of tap in just to get it filled in. And then I will come through it like that. All right. And then you just keep painting, adding the leaves however you want to place them. There's really not a specific, okay, we'll do it here. I'm just looking at it and feeling where I feel like it needs to go. Hope that makes sense. Now on this one, I can do the light on the one side and come back. I'm going to add a little bit more darkness here. And then just put it like that. Put a little stem down the center. Sometimes when you get a little curve like I'm doing, it's a little difficult to get a really good little vein in there, stem, however you want to reference it. But that's okay, right? All right, so here we go again. I'm going to paint over that a little bit. Come over that way. I'm just trying to make sure I'm still on target here. And then come up here. I'm doing a little wiggling, I'm doing a little tapping because I just want to make sure that I'm getting good coverage as I put this down. Because sometimes when you do some wiggling movement over the glass, it can make the paint raise. You know, or as you're wiggling it removes the paint, so you have some open glass underneath it. So that's one reason I'm just trying to be a little cautious. And then I'll just keep moving down here. Now you can kind of go over your flower or your flower a little bit like I'm doing here. Just have to be careful because it is wet, so you're doing wet on wet like this. If you don't want to do wet on wet, then actually hit it with a heat gun or try to give it some drying time. If you don't have a heat gun or a hairdryer that you can use, allow it some dry time, and that way it won't mix in with the other paint like this one is doing. But I'm okay with that. That's why it doesn't matter to me. I'm okay with that look. I just want it to be a clean look. That's why I go over it a little bit just to make sure, and just do like a little sweeping movement. And then I can bring a stem through the center here. Again, it can be all the way down, it can be part way, however you want to do it. All right, so let's keep going. This, again, is just a very, very simple design, as you can tell. Not much to it. Also, one avenue that you could do is actually put some leaves down first. If you prefer to have like some leaves under in the background, and then your flowers over the top, and then maybe add some more leaves to it. You can do that also. Again, up to you. There's just different options, and I just like to kind of share this with you so you're aware of different things that you can do. Okay, so on this one, I want to go over it a little bit more here, because I just want to make sure that I have it covered well. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. She's down here with me, and she's snoring. There we go. Very easy. I love painting on glass. You can do different shapes of leaves too. You don't have to do what I'm doing. I just gravitate towards these for whatever reason, and they're kind of my favorite ones to create. So that's why I tend to do them a lot. And I'm going to go over this again. Maybe make this a little bit of a rounded thing closer to the flower. And I'm just doing a little movements without actually going back and forth real quickly like I would if I was doing it on paper. And that's, again, just to keep from bringing up the paint underneath. All right. And I'll see this one has the dark on that side, the light on this side. Some of them are like that. They're just kind of mix them up a little bit. And it's always fun too if you add some leaves that have different colors to them. They're not all in this color scheme. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Do it like that. And you can make different shapes too. So I'm just trying to keep it simple for you. So I'm not doing a lot of variety. Just so you know, I think I just reversed that. It's okay. You see, by doing this, you know, you can also let it dry a little bit, but by doing this, you're just making it a little bit thicker, you know, so that it gives it that little extra coat. But like I said, once they start drying, you might see that they're not as thick as you want, so you can go back over them. This one I'm kind of pulling up some of the orange underneath. So we'll go back over it just to kind of cover that up, blend it in a little bit. And then do that. And it's okay if you go over, you know, if your leaves intermix like what's happening right now, that's fine. Something like this where the center is already dark, if you want to just leave it without putting a stem through it, that's perfectly fine too. I think I'm going to head up here and add in one more leaf, and then we'll finish it off. Hopefully you can see it. We'll finish it off with the centers and we will be done. This is definitely a unique bottle. I'm enjoying painting on it. If you want to find a good way to get some used bottles, you know, without actually purchasing bottles, I get these from a local restaurant bar that we go to. So I'm actually helping keep it out of waste, right? And making something pretty with it. All right, so I'm going to take the end of my brush, just dipping it into the burnt umber, and I'm going to do a quick little dot in the center. Then I'm going to take the other end, which is the little fine bristles. I'm placing them into my orange, the vivid orange, and I'm just going to go around it and just lightly do some little pulls around the center. Now I could do a different color to make it stand out more. I'm not really too concerned about that. I just want it to be, you know, where it's kind of blends in. It's not I'm not trying to make it stand out a whole lot. Just a real easy center. And then do the same on this last one. And I could have loaded these with white. White would have probably shown up a lot more, or I could have done even a contrasting color. But I want to keep it simple and just like I'm doing. All right, that's it. That's all there is to this one. Pretty darn easy, right? Again, I would do around the whole bottle. I do put lights in my bottles that I sell. They're very pretty little ambiance pieces, great little night lights. Anyways, I hope you like this. If you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Before you leave, if you would, share this. It's very easy. Just hit the share button underneath. Share this video on your social network with all your family and friends. I would greatly appreciate it. Until the next time, thanks so much for stopping by. Stay safe and healthy, and have a good one.